So I just wanted to drop in before I go live in my ETs 101. Oh, I thought you said I love the Labrador, and I'm like, I don't have a dog in here. Before I read the whole thing. So, oh God, it always does this to me. So, definitely very interesting before I go live in the page. Actually, I posted the wrap on my Instagram, and I didn't post it on the Facebook yet. On the Facebook. I will probably later. It didn't. I thought it would have posted to the Facebook page, but it didn't. So, I don't know. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Alright, this isn't working. Why does it do this? Alright, I'm just going to do that. Okay. Thank you, Stephanie. I definitely wasn't my best. Like, it was my first time doing it in a long time, so I was kind of like, about it. But, it was alright. It was good. So, but yeah, I'll post it later. I've just been busy working on this class tonight, so I'm trying to get everything together. So, very interesting. Hey, Mike. So, oh, I wonder if I can post the link here. Let me do that, too. And then, so this is the link for the class that I will be doing in an hour. So if you haven't joined, you definitely should. So the cool thing about this, ETs 101, I already did an hour-and-a-half video. So I talked about my abduction experience. I just talked about a lot of the stuff that I know about ETs, the media, all of that stuff. So I connected... I honestly don't remember everything that I talked about, but because I just went off in tangents. But it was a lot of the manipulation behind the media, my experiences, and then other things that have happened with the ETs. Like, I don't know, I just know so much information about it, so I don't really even... I know that it's on the video when you go in there. Actually, let me look right now instead of telling you guys that I don't know. My Instagram handle is ashtarv, at ashtarv. So definitely follow me on Instagram. So I talked about what is an ET, why is this information hidden, the media manipulation around the subject, and then my abduction story, and then symptoms of ET abduction. So this is what I talked about. It was like an hour-and-a-half video, so lots of information in there. And then tonight I'm probably going to go live for another hour-and-a-half, and I am going to talk about the species. So I already have a layout of what species I wanted to talk about, but the interesting thing that was happening to me when I was going over everything was I was told on a separate piece of paper to channel information with Archangel Michael about some of these species, and this is like kind of stuff that you can't find on the internet. It was just more of, so I tapped into the Akashic records and I was asking him information about it. My thoughts on Area 51 and the whole raid thing is that it's a distraction because there's the Epstein thing going on, the Epstein trial with the sex trafficking and the politicians and people in Hollywood. And that's, I think that the Area 51 thing is definitely a distraction from that. So anytime that there's something really big going on, they always put out something to distract us. So I think that was a perfect distraction right there. I really don't think that there's much on Area 51, honestly. I think that there was, like, you know, in the 70s, 60s, back then, but I don't really feel that there's a lot going on there. I mean, they probably have technology. I mean, who knows? There may be aliens there. I don't know. I feel like that they're everywhere, honestly. Me and Steve actually talked more about this in the podcast that we did Friday, so you can check that out, Mike. It's on the page, and it's on this page, and it's Reality Unchained #1, and we talk about the Area 51 thing. But Steve was saying, and I know that I've read this too, that, you know, the government has bases in mountains that you can't even see. Like, you wouldn't even notice if you walked up to them. So, like, Area 51 ain't shit. There's way more going on. I think that we have a hollow earth. I think that there's whole cities underneath the earth. Like, what we know is, like, and what's released to the public is not, it's like, I don't even know. I think a lot of it is bullshit, honestly, and I think that there's so much more going on that we don't know about. But tonight in the call, I'm going to focus on the species. So I'm going to talk about the Greys, and there was definitely some interesting information that came in about them. That, you know, I never really talked about before. So one of them is like their hive mentality, which I'm going to go into in their thought forms. Another thing that I connected with was the Palladians and their role here. Their role with the ascension process here, and I kept getting information that it's changed over the past like 10 to 20 years. So I'm going to talk about that. I channeled a ton of stuff from the Commander Ashtar and the Ashtar Command, which I will go over, which he showed me the difference between the Ashtar Command, the Galactic Federation of Light, and the Great White Brotherhood. So I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about the reptilians. I'm going to talk about how aliens exchange energy for food, which is very important because a lot of us don't know about that and don't understand that. So in actuality, we are some of their food source, which is something that we need to know and understand, which is why the planet is in chaos right now, due to the fact of these entities are definitely feeding off of us and our fear. Some of them, not all of them. And when humans begin to understand that, that is when we step away from the fear and we empower ourselves, and we begin to step into a more positive and powerful role as humans. Another thing too is there's definitely a huge connection between the Palladians and Scandinavian and Nordic beings, which I'm going to touch upon in the call tonight. I think that, and I'm going to talk about the Octurians too, more on the Octurians with that. I'm probably going to channel some information directly from the Octurians when we go in the call, because I connect with them all the time. And talk about a little bit about the Andromedans, the Syrians, and I think a big thing in this is going to be the Ashtar Command and the role that they play in that. So right now, this class is up for donation. So you can give any donation that you want. You can choose your investment. After tonight, I am putting it up for $44 to $55. That's it. You have to pay the price that I tell you to pay. And that's going to be how it's available, because there's a lot of information going in this. And honestly, it took up a lot of my day to get what I got today, because the energy that I was working with is extremely intense. And I have to go into serious protection rituals whenever I work with galactic energy, especially when I'm tapping into all different kinds. So that is what's happening for tonight. So if you're interested in this and you want to know more, then join the call, because I'm not going into all this information on an open public page. That's not something that I do. I like to do this in private groups because the energy is so strong that I like to keep the container protected. That's how I like to work. So yeah, that's what's happening for tonight. It's interesting. A lot of channeled information is coming in. We're also going to talk a little bit about the Men in Black, because they do exist. And a lot of people think that they don't, but they really do. It's not just in the movies. I actually watched the new one a few days ago, and it was really good. It's funny when you know a lot about ETs and then you see the movies and you're like, I don't know. It seems exaggerated, but it's really not. All this shit is happening. That's why they put it in movies, because they want us to think that it doesn't really exist, you know? So that's going to be lots of fun. And after this, ETs 101, I think I'm going to go into like a full-on starseeds course coming up, because I really want to tap into that and how we tap into those energies. It's definitely very interesting. So yeah, they will kill everyone if they show up with no hesitation. Yeah, I don't understand why people would even think that it's a good idea to storm Area 51. I mean, I don't know. When I saw it, and when I was like seeing all the memes and stuff on my timeline, I'm like, no, this is definitely not something that I would want to be involved in. Knowing alien energy and the things that they've done to people, like, why would you want to storm a base that supposedly has ETs on it? And even if they don't have ETs there, the energy is still there. And the energy, some of those energies can be really toxic. So, yeah, people don't know what they're messing with alien stuff. There's so much stuff with that people don't understand. And I think that we really need to learn to understand, because we're opening up to connecting with these galactic communities, I feel like, on a physical level. So, I don't know. I don't know what else to talk about, honestly. I feel like that's kind of why I logged on. Let's talk about ETs 101. I feel like I have to say something else, though. So give me a minute. Also, too, I think I'm going to touch a little bit upon, it's like, you know, the energy. And then that's what I'm going to talk about with the Greys, is the mind control stuff, because that is really prominent in our society. And I was just talking about this with someone today. Like, a lot of people aren't seeing the whole Epstein thing. Some people are like, who's that? And I'm just like, wow, fuck you. Like, how do you not know about this? This is some real shit, man. This is some real shit. Like, the whole Epstein case and people not knowing about it, that energy is definitely cloaked. Like, these people use occult rituals to cloak themselves and things that they're doing so we can't see it. And they learned a lot of this from the Star People. Like, one of the things I'm going to talk about tonight is how the Palladians, or the Cherokee Indians, the Cherokee Native Americans, are actually connected to the Palladians. If humans realized how much we are actually connected to the stars, I think that everything on the planet would change. We're so centered around the belief that we're the only beings that actually exist in the galaxy or the universe, and that's it. I just don't understand how we believe, like, how people can believe that, like, how people are still questioning that ETs exist. To me, that's just insane. It really is. I don't know. I feel like you're living in a whole different... I think it has a lot to do with fear, which I talk about in the first video. Like, a lot of people are afraid to admit that they exist, because then it's almost like a being that's more powerful than you, more smarter than you. A lot of ETs are interdimensional, so I mean, as humans, we can't physically do that. It's just a very intimidating idea to connect with, that they exist. But I'm going live in an hour, so if you want in on this, definitely click the link and purchase your ticket, and I will add you in. And I know that I will definitely be doing some channeling too, so there's going to be more information that's coming in than I am unaware of. Probably because it's supposed to be just in that container, and I'm not supposed to talk about it on here. Alright, so I will see you all later, and I hope you all have a good night. Bye.